We are good. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's meeting for the Board of Trustees for the Liberty Lake Municipal Library. Okay, so I will call the meeting to order and we'll take a quick roll. Kim.
Here.
Shauna.
Here.
Thank you. Brad. Yeah, he's here. Jandy's here,
Yes.
which I know, and I know Teresa has other things on her agenda today, so she is excused. And we do not have, anyone sitting on the board at this moment to fill the position that was left by Bob Scottum, but we have, that's possibly going to change here real quickly. So after that, we will move on. Can I have a motion for to approve or amend the agenda first?
I make the motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
After the second, everybody's good.
Aye.
All right. Can I have another motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting?
I make the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We only have one other person that could second, so there she is. I like it.
It
Okay,
is what it is.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Minutes and agenda are approved. So we'll move on. I don't see anybody in the audience, but I'll ask for any citizen comments. So do we have anybody online? Oh, we do. Okay, could you explain the way that's taken care of, Jandy?
If you'd like to make a citizen comment, please raise your hand and I will call on you. You'll have 3 minutes for your comment. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay,
Oh,
All right.
I thought we had someone.
they're online, but they didn't want to comment. That's how I'm interpreting that? Okay, great, thank you. All right. So now we are on to the introduction of our new, of a board candidate that has not been actually put before the council yet. Am I correct about that? Okay, but will be suggested to the council for approval. Okay, so do you want to introduce this person?
Yeah, Michael, do you want to stand up by the mic just so everyone can see you? Just right here by the mic that we didn't put up. I wanted to introduce Michael Botta. We had interviews last week with Mayor Chris, and he is who we're going to bring forward to the council for approval at the December 3rd meeting. So I asked him to come today and listen in and just kind of get a sense for how our meetings flow and that sort of thing. And I was hoping to have him introduce himself to you guys.
Yes, thank you so much. So I'm Michael Botta. I'm a physician by training. I grew up in Romania, moved to the United States in 2007, and moved to Liberty Lake about 5 years ago. As I mentioned during the interview, I grew up with books and going to the library. So really excited to serve the community in this way. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, Michael, for coming today.
Michael, we appreciate you stepping up and doing that. We look forward to having you on our board once the formal process is finished with the council.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so now we are on to reports, and we'll go to Mark for our first report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if I have a formal report per se, but just to give an update on the latest with respect to the budget process in general and the library budget specifically. If you tuned into last night's council meeting, we covered the library capital fund as part of the discussion among many other funds that were covered during last night's workshop. And thus far, the council still has to go through the adoption of the ordinance process But thus far, there have been no changes made to the operating budget for the library and its delivery of services and programs, or to the capital budget that was established in order to execute the project that has been proposed. And so that doesn't mean that through the next couple of steps, there won't be amendments that are put on the table, but as of last night's conversation, none of those items were edited in any way. So what has been built into the budget is currently preserved as it was built into the budget.
That's all good news.
Yes, and so the first read of the ordinance is scheduled for Tuesday, November 19th, which is next Tuesday. And then the following meeting, which is the first Tuesday in December, whatever that date is, would be the planned second read. And we do that so that we can have a buffer if something goes haywire, or if there's a snowstorm or something like that, because statutorily, we're required to have an adopted budget going into the new year. And so that just gives us an extra meeting in order to accomplish that. So it's on, if everything goes according to plan, it will be adopted on the first December meeting.
And is the website open for us to still go in and leave comments about the budget?
Absolutely. And there are, in fact, David is going to, our communications coordinator is going to post some messages today, encouraging people to get in there and if they haven't already, put their input in prior to the Tuesday meeting so that that can be incorporated into the discussion as the ordinance is being considered.
Yeah, it's on the top of the city webpage at the very top that you can click and make a comment. And it's open. I know some of the surveys you have to or some of the forums you have to log in for. This one you just click on it and then you can go through and put your info in. So it's really easy to fill out.
So Mark, could you just, this is basically for me, probably not for anyone else, but could you just, again, quickly, remind me how our budgeting process this year is a little bit different than in past? Because I know you refer to it as priority-based budgeting. Could you just briefly, kind of give an overview of what that means?
Sure. And that is less process oriented than it is method oriented. So the process, particularly the timeline for the process, is pretty much directed by state law. So we have very little flexibility there. Now, we order the process so that we don't put ourselves in danger of missing deadlines. And so in that way, we provide ourselves with flexibility, but ultimately the deadlines are defined by state law. The method that we've chosen to transition to from, and if you follow the city budget, and particularly the council setting the city budget in years past, including this year, because this year we communicated was kind of a transition year. They've essentially gone down line by line, right? So envision in the old days, you had the green and white bar paper, right? And you're flipping and you're going line by line. And that's kind of been the method for setting the budget. There's nothing wrong with that. That would be considered a traditional budget methodology. The concern that we have is that the locus or the focus of attention is on the line item. And so very few people would be able to take a line item budget, look at a line item and understand how that line item translates into some result that they see out in the field. And so what we propose to do is to change that focus up to what is called a program level. So in the case of the library, there are three programs. They're essentially circulation, there's programs, and there's meeting space, right? And we may need to do some more work to define those a little bit more clearly. But essentially, we're talking about the lending library as a program, right? And so how much does it cost to execute a lending library? And then what results does that execution of that bring to the community? And then you translate that across every other program in the city's inventory. And so the reason it's called priority-based budgeting is because once you know those programs, once you've defined them, you prioritize them. And so theoretically, over time, you're investing resources into your highest priorities. And so that's essentially the method that we've chosen to use. This is our first year. It's a transition year. And so we're kind of doing both methods side by side. And then going forward, it'll be more focused on the priority-based approach.
Good explanation, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, that was great.
Mark, I've got a question regarding the budget too, and this is based on the library design and construction project budget. So the budget you're talking about is just for continuing operations of the existing library as is. And then in October, I think it was the 18th, that meeting, the budget for the additional funds for the library that failed or was postponed. And so is
Yeah.
there any movement on that?
Good question. And so let me attack the first one first.
Okay.
This year in particular, we're focusing on getting a solid foundation built on the operating side of the budget. Going forward, we plan also to use, and just for brevity's sake, I'm gonna call it PBB. We're gonna use PBB on both the capital side and the operating side. So going forward, projects like the proposed library design and construction would be in the priority-based budgeting system and would be prioritized. This year that didn't happen because we had to start somewhere and we chose to start with the operating side of the budget. The second part of the question on the meeting going back to October, the decision was made, as you pointed out, Shonda, that the council voted to push the decision on setting a project budget and schedule out until there was some feedback from our master facilities planning project, which is underway. And we plan to have results for council to consider and discuss sometime in February. And so based on that information, they chose to push the decision on the library project specifically out to a date after which they had this information to consider on all of the other facilities that are in the city's inventory.
And so does that mean that any work, including RFPs, or it's all on hold until February?
Yes,
Because there is no budget right now.
right, because there was no approval of a budget amount, so there's no, so if you'll recall, I think this goes back to July, the council did authorize the contract with Turner Townsend and Erie, and separately authorized work order number 1, which included the programming phase of the library design and construction project, which, you know, included Turner doing some public engagement, some programming, and that's where you got the 2 options of the conceptual layouts. That kind of work was authorized by council in that work order number 1. And so that has been done. The next step was to approve a budget based on that work and then move forward into design and construction. And it's it's that phase, the design construction phase, that has been pushed out, or at least the decision for establishing a budget and timeline has been pushed out.
Great, that is super helpful. Appreciate that, Mark.
There is no money in the budget for next year for the new library project.
There is.
It's all.
It's all budgeted, all 5.8 million is budgeted.
Yes.
Yeah, it's proposed in the mayor's proposed budget to the
Okay.
council, correct?
And that's what I mentioned at the outset, all of that
Okay,
is in the capital budget. Thus far, it's not been
right,
removed
okay.
or changed.
Right, there's still a possibility that there could be some tweaks to that. as we move forward, am I correct on that?
Yeah, until the budget's adopted, there are opportunities for changes to occur, but thus far, through the 2 workshops that we've had, that funding hasn't been touched.
And that'll be, if approved, that'll be approved this year.
So the budget, yes, the budget will be adopted, if it happens on schedule, the first council meeting in December. But
December 3rd.
December 3rd, but by law, it has to be adopted prior to December 31st, so. Sometime,
So-
yes.
So how does that work then? If it's in the budget for the full amount, but they've tabled making a decision until February, how can they approve a budget that includes that amount when they haven't made a decision on whether to approve that amount until February?
Yeah, so I would, the best way to think about that is that in this case, the budget, the city's budget is a plan, right? And so.
Yeah.
In order to execute, in next year's, call it the fiscal year, which in our case is the same as the calendar year. In order to execute that plan, we've got to have the capacity built in, or the other option would be sometime in the middle of the year, we do a budget amendment, which we do those often, but you don't want to go into a year knowing you're going to have to do a budget amendment.
Yeah.
The best practice is to put everything that you're planning for into the budget. And so it's in the budget, so the capacity exists for that to occur. It still has to be approved by the council, just like every other expenditure that's currently in the budget. All of those still have to go before council when they actually are being executed.
Got it. So it's reserving that budget in
Yeah,
case they
it's
want to
creating
use
a-
it,
Yeah.
sort of. Okay. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Mark. Anything else you want to present to us?
I don't think so.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so it says I'm on for Friends of the Liberty Lake Library. Kim. You.
Oh, sorry, that was just a copy and paste by me.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's all right. We take turns going back and forth, but I'm gonna pass the ball to Kim.
So they nominated officers for next year, and those will get approved at the next meeting, is that correct? It was a pretty short meeting, not long, but we had a guest at the meeting, James Zahan. He came and surprised everybody and announced that he has a lot of money to donate to the Friends of the Liberty Lake Library. And so they were going to have a meeting afterwards to talk about what that might look like and how to best proceed with that according to the bylaws of the Friends group. So that was a nice, everybody was very excited. So, Jandy, do you know anything after that has?
Yeah, the board has met with James. They've been communicating. They have set up a separate account so that the money, he wants the money specifically for STEM projects, technology, those sort of things at the library. So they are creating a separate account and they are signing a memorandum of understanding. And then once everything's dotted and crossed, he's planning to hand over a check for $50,000, I think.
Wow.
And so the Friends are setting up a process, similar to what we use for summer reading and that sort of thing, where we'll make requests, to use those funds. And, information will be quarterly. Every quarter we will, send James and his foundation statistics and information on where the money's being used for.
My retired teacher librarian brain has been working overdrive
Yes,
on that.
yes, we can do a lot, with that money, so we are extremely excited and, appreciative.
Yes.
It's basically gonna be an account within an
Yes,
account with Friends.
yes, so the Friends, they just wanted, they thought it would be easier to obviously have it separated. And then, we would take monies out of that account for STEM technology, type services at the library.
This is really exciting. What a gift, what an amazing gift.
Amazing, and it's a generous offer
Yes.
from him, their foundation to consider us. And exciting, especially when we move into that new building. That'll be really pretty cool.
But the foundation, it's a donation, on behalf of his wife, who was a former educator who passed away several years ago. So we are planning, to, what's the word?
Memorialize.
Yes, memorialize that. So if we purchase physical items, like say we got something that's technology based for the library of things, it will have an in memory of this individual or, sponsored by this, memorial fund. They're still working on the language. He's gonna approve whatever language he wants. And then if it's a program, it would say, sponsored by this memorial fund. Just like we do, it's sponsored by the Friends of the Liberty Lake Library.
Yeah.
But very cool.
Do we as a board want, once the MOU is signed and all of that, make an official thank you from the board?
I think that'd be
Yeah,
wonderful.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was it for the
Yep.
friends. Okay, Shauna.
Oh, the book sale's coming up.
Oh, yes, forgot. We can't forget that. We have to promote the book sale, which is coming up, May. That's later, November 22nd and 23rd. Yeah. 12 to 6 and 9 to 3.
Yes.
So get all your books. There's some pretty cool books that are gonna show up on, for those, for that sale this year. Lots of donations. So, very good. Okay, I think we have that. All right, Shauna, city council, we pretty much have it from Mark, but do you have any?
Yeah, no, the October 15th, we pretty much discussed everything in the questions that I had for Mark on the October 15th meeting. They had a discussion about funding for the library project. That's been kind of tabled until February when they have that larger conversation of the overall plan. And then the meetings since then have pretty much been focused purely on budgeting. And as Mark said, it's in the budget. The full funds are in the budget right now, but until it's approved and then contracts in the future are signed, it's that's just where it is. It's a item in the budget.
Okay.
And then nothing else really that pertains to the library as far as the city council.
The Jandy with the library.
So I have a couple of things for you guys today. I wanted to let you guys know, of course, that the Halloween party went really well. We had about 300 people there over the course of an hour and a half. The theme was Monsters, Inc. Halloween is generally our second-ish biggest events of the year, first being Touch a Truck. And then it's usually a contest between Halloween and, the children's musician or magician or whatever our summer reading show is that we get each year. So it was Monsters Inc. themed. It was very well attended. I'm very excited about it. Michaela and Aaron are in the process of planning our Christmas party. They're planning a Christmas crafternoon for this year. So they're going to have a variety of different crafts and activities for the kids to do. The friends, of course, are going to help volunteer for that event, as well as our teen advisory group.
Did you say December 14th?
I think that's what the
Or did
date
I
is.
see that online?
Maybe, I don't,
I think it is.
yeah, December 14th. I can't remember if it's
I think it was 1 to 3 or
1 to
something
3,
like that.
okay. I couldn't remember if it was 11 or 1,
Or
so.
maybe it's 11 to 1.
Yeah.
It's one's in there somewhere. That's
Yeah.
all I know.
But that's our next, big event that we're doing as a community. We'll also have our ice cream cone Christmas trees. Instead of gingerbread houses, they frost a sugar cone and make little Christmas trees. That's usually really popular at Christmas, as well as this year for a kind of story time Christmas party, we're gonna do a Christmas drive-in movie where the kids, you basically, bring your Amazon box from home and the kids will turn it into a little car. We have little wheels and stickers and steering, all sorts of little crafts for the kids to decorate their car with. And then we line them all up in the meeting room and we watch a Christmas movie. So we're gonna do Frosty the Snowman, of course, because toddlers have a very small attention span. So they'll get to sit in their little car, eat their popcorn and watch a Christmas movie. So we did that several years ago. We decided to bring it back again this year. So trying to just plan some fun holiday activities for the library.
That sounds like fun, actually.
Yeah,
It's adorable.
I know.
Can I build my own car and come and sit and watch Frosty the Snowman?
Yes.
You have
And
to
of
sit
course-
in the back, your box will be bigger.
I'll need a bigger box for sure.
It's good timing, I feel like, as far as boxes with everyone's holiday shopping, so good way to upcycle it. The other thing I wanted to show you, and I guess Sean won't be able to see it very good online, but I wanted to pass this around for you guys. We got these Wonder Books, they're called, from Playaway. And if you look inside of it, it has an MP3 player. And so you have this green button, you turn it on. And then you push the play button and it will read the book aloud.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
So, basically it's like,
It's the greeting card that won't stop playing a song.
there it goes. So basically it will ding and that's when the kids know to turn the page. They actually make these as picture books and they also have chapter and team books as well. I'm assuming eventually they'll expand to adult books, but I think that's a really great thing to have for, kids that are learning to read, adults that have maybe vision impairments, where it can help them read along. So they are more expensive. So we've started out, we have about, I think, 15 picture books, but we're planning to get some chapter books as well and then kind of expand the collection as we see how it's doing. But it's something I'm really excited about. We've also purchased some more playaways, which if you're not familiar with those, sorry, I didn't bring one today. It's like it's just an MP3 player. You plug headphones into it, push the play button, and it's an audiobook that will read to you aloud.
Are they preloaded with an audiobook or do they check it out?
So
A little bit.
it's preloaded.
Okay.
So it looks like a DVD case. You open it up, it has the little MP3 player in it. And it has the book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or whatever on it. So we obviously have a large audiobook collection of books on CDs, but so many people don't have CD players at home and also in your car. All the new cars don't have CD players. It's just all, Bluetooth wireless. So at least with these playaways, you don't have to have a CD player. And if your car does have the little aux cord, you can just plug it in and it will play the audiobook. So if your car has that capability, you can still do that. We're just buying some more to see how they do and how they're circulating.
Jandy, what service do you guys have or use that alerts you to these kind of books and things that are available?
A lot of, we get millions of ads every day in our email from different publishers that will advertise stuff each month. Honestly, how we heard about Wonder Books is Coeur d'Alene Library got some and somebody requested them.
Oh, wow.
So they came through shipment and we're like, what is this? I've never seen this before. Obviously, I was aware of Playaway because that's been, Playaways or audiobooks has been something that we've had probably since like 2009. But that's honestly how Wonder Books got on our radar, was just somebody brought it through as a book request. So I wanted to, pass this around so you guys could see them.
I love that idea because my son
Yeah,
always
that's
struggled
great,
with.
Sean.
with
And then while you
reading.
guys are looking, I'm gonna share my screen. I wanted to show you guys what the new app looks like. I guess the web version of the app that we just got. You guys can see what it's looking like.
I got it as soon as I saw it was going live.
Okay, so here it comes up. So this is our new catalog. So it is on our website, linked to the catalog. It's also available as an app. The app is called Aspen Lida, Lida, that patrons can download on their phone. It launched the very end of October. Let's see, I think it was like the 25th or something. Sorry, the 21st. We like it because it's very user friendly. It's also just aesthetically pleasing. If you notice up here, we have all of these different categories that people can look at if they're, you don't know what you want to read or you want to find out what's new. It's really easy to see. So we have a what's new category, what's new as far as adults. It also has things like what's trending. This means what's trending in our consortium, so throughout CIN. It also has, it links the New York Times bestsellers, and then it has all of these new, various categories, historical fiction, mystery, romance, et cetera, et cetera. So it gives people ideas of new things to read. And then obviously it just looks pretty, kind of like Netflix with all of the different covers there for people to see. We also have it broken up into our kids collection. So we have our teen collection. It shows what's trending. Graphic novels are included, fiction and nonfiction. And then in our kids collection, we have what's trending, of course, Harry Potter and the Wild Robot right now. But it has our new Wonder Book collection for people to see what's included in that. It also has, our juvenile fiction, picture books, graphic novels, of course. So it shows everything new that we have at the library, all the brand new stuff that's just, come on our shelf, to kind of give people ideas of new things to read.
And so that's Liberty Lake shelf or the whole network shelf?
Ours are all Liberty Lake specific. So it shows what's new at our library, is how we have it set up. Other libraries within the consortium might show what's new throughout CIN. But we have, as far as spotlights, what's new for our library. The other thing I wanted to show you is it links to events and interlibrary loan, which is where people can put in requests for materials outside of our system, because that's something we get a lot of questions about. The other thing I wanted to show you is just for searching. This is something I'm really excited about. So say I want to check out the Wild Robot. So, sorry, I'm gonna come up here to Wild Robot. I want you to be able to see the big screen. So the great thing about Aspen is that it integrates everything. So it shows the book. It shows that we have a playaway. It also shows our ebooks. So previously, if you wanted to see if we had the Wild Robot on ebook, you had to open up your Libby app and search it separately.
Oh,
Okay.
So now they can see, oh, we do have it as an e-audiobook, we do have it as an ebook, and Kindle. So that's something that I think is really convenient for our patrons. If that's something that they're looking for, they're going on a trip. They want the audiobook, the e-audiobook, they can see right there that we have it.
Yep, and on the phone app, one of the things I really appreciate is when you pull up your account, you can just see what you have on hold.
Yes,
What you need to pick up.
yes.
Yeah.
And you don't have to log in every time. So that's the other thing was like a lot of people were familiar with our website and they knew their library card number, they knew their password, they can log in and put stuff on hold. But it's like any other app where, it doesn't make you log in every time. which I think is nice for people that have a hard time remembering their password.
Yeah. Jenny, do you get any reports, or is there any way to know, how much that is used, per month?
So that's something Mark asked me as well that I'm gonna look into with Aspen to see how we get the data on how many people have downloaded the app. And if I'm assuming there is that information. It's just brand new that I haven't found out yet. And I'm sure they brought it up in a meeting and I just don't remember.
Well, that'll be great data to include in
Yeah.
our.
Yes.
To know
reports,
how many people have downloaded
Right.
the app and that's what.
Just right out of the gate,
Yes,
how many people.
yeah. So we have a meeting next Wednesday. So I'm planning to bring that up and ask.
So I'm
About
assuming,
that.
I'm assuming the app, you can use it to check out, do they use it to check out or just put on hold to come in to check out, or how do they do that?
It has a digital library card. So if you open up the app, it has a little library card button, you push that, and then you can use it to check out.
Got it.
So for people who don't want to clutter up their wallet or never bring it with them, if everyone brings their phone with them,
So
it's available.
you can track a little bit how it's used through that, right?
No, because it just has a barcode, and so they scan it and it brings up their account.
Okay.
So it doesn't tell me if they used the app, because in the computer's mind, it's a card.
Got it.
So, but yeah, it is exciting for people that, just have their Apple Pay or whatever, that now they can just have their library card included.
It's a library app, there's probably more data than you ever want that they can share.
Yes, librarians are very much data nerds, that's for sure. So yeah, I was really excited to show that to you. Michaela and Georgette worked on this very hard. Michaela went in and made all of these different categories and got everything all set up. So she did a phenomenal job and I'm not taking credit for it. So
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool that she did that. And Georgia.
yes. Let's see what my last thing, oh yes. So, I wanted to give you guys an update on the fundraising group. So in the October, it wasn't the October 15th, it was the September meeting. It was brought up, by the council, about kind of doing some fundraising. And they asked if the Friends were able to do, capital fundraising on behalf of the new library project. And the Friends with their bylaws are not able to do capital fundraising. They're only able to do program fundraising. A fundraising group has been formed. The current members are the mayor, Lynn Atkins and Sandy Bishop. I know you guys know Lynn because she's a sub for the library. And then Sandy Bishop was a former board member. I think you guys know who she is as well. So they have met 3 or 4 times over the past couple weeks since September. So I wanted to give you guys some updates. I have a meeting with them later this afternoon as well. They're trying to meet twice a month right now. So far they have secured 2 large donations from this a community member, James Zahan, who we were just talking about before. He has offered a $250,000 donation to sponsor the library's large community meeting rooms. The other donation that has been secured is in the process of being secured. They don't have the letter of intent yet, but it's with the SDCU, and they are wanting to sponsor the podcasting studio. And they it's a $75,000 donation. So that's amazing that they raised that much money in that little time. So I have some other updates from them. Let's see, where is it? Sorry, I have my notes. So they are planning to use the Liberty Lake Better Together Fund through Innovia to receive the donations. They have secured a sponsor for their printed material. So they're kind of envisioning creating different brochures and flyers, kind of like a one sheet with information on what the layout of the library looks like, what's the different meeting rooms and study rooms that you can sponsor. And so they have that donation secured. There's also a group that's, I think, coming to the next council meeting. It's a computer group that wants to sponsor kind of like the not the computer room, but our computer lab. They want to give donations for new computers for that lab. So they're planning to come to the next council meeting and talk about that some more. And then, sorry, did you have a question?
Well, I was gonna ask you, I'm trying to vision the layout that was presented to us. Is there a room for podcasts in that layout?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. So we do have a study room that's designated right now as the podcasting studio. With the idea that it could also be, if for some reason it could be used as a study room or a staff office. But it is designated right now as the podcasting suite. So we're excited about that. I have their, let's see. They're planning to meet every other Wednesday at 2 p.m. So they've done a lot so far in a very short amount of time. So I'm really impressed with their efforts so far. So they're really wanting to, raise some money. Oh, their goal is to raise $500,000 to help supplement the new library project. And they are well on their
they're
way.
pretty darn close.
Already more than halfway, so that's incredible. So I think that's everything I had for my report.
All right, Shauna, any questions for Jandy?
No, she says she's good.
Okay. All right, so we are on to our December quarterly report under business. So I know Jandy will take the lead on that too. And I'm hoping you'll continue to be willing to help her with that.
Sign me up.
All right, I knew it would happen. I like it. Okay, go ahead, Jandy.
So what I was gonna say is our vision for the December 3rd council meeting is that the board will give their quarterly report. Me and Kim will give the quarterly report. And then, during the action items, we will have our appointments. So it would be Michael. And then Kim is up for a reappointment. So it would be her. And
That'll
then
be awkward if I don't get reappointed.
I don't think that.
I don't see that being the case.
I don't think that'll be a problem. At least I hope it's not.
And then, Teresa has let me know that, she will not be seeking a reappointment. And so we have, we did 4 interviews last week and we ranked them. And so we are planning to, offer an appointment to our other individual who was our second top candidate, for the board. And they have not accepted that yet. So until I hear from them,
Right.
I won't give anything more. But that was my vision, was that we could do our quarterly report and then our appointments later in the meeting, since we will already be there for the quarterly report. So,
And so they will start at our December board meeting.
so I know for sure Michael will start at our December board meeting. Technically, I have to get clarity.
I think she's through December.
Yes, so I
For
think,
Teresa, so the next person would start with our January meeting.
yes, so that's something I had to get. I was gonna ask Kelsey, the city clerk, for clarification on,
Right.
because Teresa's goes through December 2024.
Kind of up to Teresa, really.
Yeah, I didn't know if she was gonna be done now or.
Yeah.
Just finished, yeah.
So this person's appointment would be a brand new 5-year term, so I think they would start in January.
Right.
But I'll double check. I think my plan would be to invite them, like we did with Michael, to come to our December meeting, sit through and listen, but couldn't necessarily vote on anything until January.
Till January, right.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, what do you, besides what you just said, what do you foresee, presenting in our quarterly report to the council?
So it's for September through December.
Mhm.
So I wanted to include our September firefighter story time and talk about our dual police and firefighter story time. I always like a good story to tell at the quarterly report.
That is a good story.
It is a good one. And then talk about the Halloween party, the Friends book sale, the Wonder Books and playaways that I showed you.
Do we have any, great statistics on usage to share,
Probably circulation data.
circulation data?
yes.
Okay.
I was planning circulation data, maybe the hotspots as well. Probably talk about the app.
Yes.
Yep.
Shauna, any suggestions for our quarterly report?
The donations, is that on there?
As in, the one from James.
Yeah,
So are you talking about the Friends one or the 325?
I mean,
Not sure. Go ahead.
we could just state that those are, I don't know, do we want to state that those are in the works? Do we, like, if nothing's done on them, if it's not official, then we probably shouldn't include that. It's not, and those are really kind of friends of the library things, I guess, or this new organizations, fundraising versus the library and the library board raising funds. Like, it benefits the library, but it's not.
But we do
Us.
mention friends activities in the quarterly reports, so that, I think that's important for the council to know that that's.
We do. I think we have to be a little bit cautious about whether, until it is a
Right.
finally approved,
Yeah,
donation.
I'd postpone it
Right.
unless an MOU is signed.
But maybe it's something we could also invite the friends to come to one of the council meetings and share about the donation that they've received.
Be a great idea.
Yeah,
I know Robin's comfortable speaking in front of the council doing community engagement, so. I'll mention that to her and see if that's something she's up for once it's official.
That's good. Yeah, to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what about any senior outreach projects that we could include? I just like to think about
Yeah.
how we're doing littles, kids, adults, and senior.
Yes, so we could definitely talk about the, pop-up library that we've been doing at Guardian Angel. Have we talked?
Yeah, though, it's great to bring that up.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I think I'll probably mention the pop-up library and the homebound program.
yes.
Because during the winter.
Yeah.
We have more individuals who aren't wanting to go out on the roads, and so we do deliver books to their home. So,
That's a great idea. Sorry for interrupting a few times there, Shauna, sorry.
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's hard when you've got multiple. What I'm thinking about though, as far as making the report, the donations, is to show that the community values the library and wants this space built out, so much so that, like, they're willing to sponsor the podcast room, and they're willing to sponsor some other things just to show, just that there is community interest in this. And I know the budget, the whole thing won't be approved to February if it moves forward, or until after February, but continuing to show community involvement and community interest, I think keeping that top of mind is helpful, but there is if it's not committed, if we don't have the check, is it something to report on yet?
Could we would Lynn be willing to come up and give an update on what they're doing? Who spearheads that?
So it's Glenn, the mayor, and Sandy.
Right, but who actually kind of spearheads the whole thing? Or are they just kind of sharing all the responsibilities?
I would say, because there's three of them, they're kind of sharing responsibilities.
Okay.
I'll talk to them today and see because we have a meeting at 3:30.
Okay.
And see what they're thinking as far as when they're giving updates.
Right.
Because I know the mayor did mention for the 15th about those two donations to the council. But I think for the council, it's not real until it's a check. But individuals might not want to give a check until there's a real budget. So it's one of those chicken and the egg scenario. So like a little bit, yeah. So I'll ask at the meeting today what they're thinking.
Any other ideas for our quarterly report?
Yeah, and it was last quarter that we had the tentative put in the budget for the legislature. So that's not this quarter.
I guess I would add that, we had a workshop last meeting about legislative priorities. And the council discussed making this grant opportunity a legislative priority. So I don't know that they've been formally adopted, but that was the first thing on the list.
Yeah, so to that, the 19th, next Tuesday's meeting is going to have a follow-up workshop to try to bring clarity to all of those legislative priorities, including the one that Jandy mentioned, so that it can be adopted sometime in December. So we're ready to use it come January 13th when the session starts.
Yeah, so I know you and the mayor usually go over, and talk with people in Olympia.
We browbeat them.
And the Public Libraries of Washington, which we are a part of as a library, does have a lobbyist. Her name is Abby, and she will be representing us for that state capital grant as well. So there'll be multiple people talking to people. So yeah, I'm crossing my fingers since those grants have always been dispersed, that will be the case again this year.
Any other suggestions for the quarterly report?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right, we're good. So you guys are gonna work on that to present it?
Yep.
Okay, that'll be great. You guys do a great job every time. Appreciate it. So we are on to the last item, which is unless there are any other comments.
One of the things I suggested to Jandy was that in January, when we have our full board, that with this new library project, that we go back and revisit the 2019 survey that was done about the state of our library. And I told it's old data because it's from 2019, but there's a pandemic in there, so it's not as old as the number would indicate.
Right.
But to just sort of maybe compare our data to dig into that again and say, okay, now we're at this point of working on a new library, you know. Is there anything in here that we're missing, or, you know, with new people, they might have new ideas, and so I was thinking in January we could visit that again.
Yes, I think that would be a great thing to go through, just really come through again.
That's a really
Yes,
good the board members especially.
yes.
Yes. Okay, then I'll ask for the last item, any citizens' comments before I ask for a motion to adjourn. Jandy, is there anybody online?
I don't have anyone online.
Okay, all right, so I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Hey, you're a
Second.
second? Okay. I knew I'd hear it. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.